have kids watch it, at least if they're below 16.
Yeah.
Rated R because of harsh language. One word. Fuck.
Back. Alright.
I'm sorry, but it's just way too easy.
No. I should have mentioned that now I'm live. So let's go. Let me just. Okay. So fun thing about my little dashboard here, where I go and stream, I can see chat and see who's joining in, which is good. All right.
Awesome.
Yeah.
I'm just waiting for your channel to show up as live. I'm on your channel's front page, by the way.
You might have to refresh. Hmm.
Your turn.
Hmm?
I'm just waiting for you.
Okay. Okay, channel. Yep, there we are. All right. Live. And there's 2 people watching. Nice.
One of them being me.
Hello, Jesse.
So, Wolf, take us away.
Anyways, okay. My girlfriend's probably gonna end up popping in here somewhere. Uh, we'll wait for that. But let's see. It's been too long since I've done my intro. I feel like I forgot.
Have you done your homework?
What homework?
Have you done your college work?
I'm streaming.
When streaming can pay your bills, you can stop worrying about college work.
I'll do it later.
God, that's ironic, thinking about what we're actually doing right now.
I'm trying to
Anyways.
actually do homework.
And you just happen to see me streaming.
Yes, because I get a notification because I'm subscribed to you.
I'm sorry. You don't.
I'm glad we're finishing ready. Fair. Because my contact is trying to leave my
Wolf, do
eye.
your homework. What?
Are you going to take Autumn or are you going to make me take Autumn?
You can take Autumn.
I'm trying to do work. I am trying to get caught up.
I'm sorry to say this, but do we need to stream later? Or is this a...
I'm not sure. I'm not sure, Trooper.
Anyway.
I know. When does it only take 5-10 minutes to take Autumn?
That's not the point, darling.
I can pick her up later. Okay. I saw that, Trooper. I saw
I'm
that.
very sorry, but it was too easy.
I know.
Anyway,
I know.
I'll stop being a bad wannabe comedian now and stuff
Mhm.
like that.
Yeah.
Anyway, hello everybody. Now to actually address the stream real quick.
Yeah.
Um, Wolf, do you have an intro you need to make, or can we go right to it?
I think the simple intro is just, hey guys, my name is Wolf, and welcome to another stream. I'm here with my friend Trooper because he wanted to rant about something.
You're so
Yes,
super.
absolutely perfect. I love it. It's on the spot. It's simple. Mm. Just like good world building too. But
Mhm.
nevertheless, um, hello everybody. As Wolf just introduced me as, I am Trooper. I've known Wolf for what? It's 2 years at least at this point.
Yeah.
2 years at this point we've known each other, and as Wolf just said, this is my ranting hour, if you will, because I asked Wolf to hopefully help me express myself because I've been growing
Mhm.
more and more frustrated, more and more frustrated with the school system. And to keep in context, uh, I live in Denmark. I don't live in the US. I live in Europe or Scandinavia, as some of you also which is part of Europe. I'm
Yes.
saying these different areas to hopefully make sure that everybody has a somewhat idea of which part of the world I'm in.
Hmm. Also,
And
just to interrupt you for a second, I might have to dip out in the middle of the stream because my girlfriend had made it very clear that I am taking my friend to class.
understood,
But it shouldn't take me long.
understood. We can just take it when we get
Yeah.
there.
Which I get
And
it. I get it. She needs to do homework. She wants to make sure she's on time, but you know.
again, it's absolutely fine. I have no quarrels with it. I asked you for a favor. It was not a guaranteed promise. It is
Mm.
absolutely fine. I have no qualms with it.
Yeah.
Of course, your viewers might look at this a bit funny, but that's not me for me to judge.
Yeah.
But as far as I've watched, most of the communities that are like the one you have is usually very understanding. So let's take it in a positive light, okay?
Yeah.
Um, but to get back on track, um, my school isn't very hard. It's not that I have to work for 8 hours or 10 hours every day to keep up. And to give a reference, I am going to college as a logistics operator, which is just a fancy word for logistics worker.
Mhm.
And I only work from 7 o'clock in the morning to 2 p.m. in the afternoon, which isn't too long, and that's not counting a little bit of homework. But most of the time, it's fairly light. And my teachers are great. I only maybe have one problem with one teacher. But that's not something I'm gonna disclose why here.
Mhm.
Uh, my issue today is not with any of the staff or any of like that. My issue today is with how the system itself functions, with
Yes.
how we taught and how it works basically, how we're taught things in our daily lives. Now, I don't mind learning. I see myself as a fairly open guy who actually loves to learn about other people. Hence, why one of my favorite hobbies is actually world building, where you create entire cultures based on references from somewhere else in the world
Mhm.
or my own personal life. Um, my issue comes with the major fact that I feel that the modern day, and I cannot stress this enough, this is modern day schools over what I've seen and heard from other friends, including Wolf and myself, um, that it's a lot of just repetition. It's not about what you know, it's about what you can remember your teacher told you about 4 hours or a year ago, or rather not, you can make notes of it.
Mhm.
And that, to me, doesn't make me a snowflake in any sense across the board. There are millions like me who has the same feeling that school is disinteresting.
Mhm.
It's just time wasting and annoying because it's not an engaging way of education. to put it in that way. It doesn't
Yeah.
engage you. Nobody feels interested about reading about some dude that died in the 1600s because he ate a bad apple.
Yeah.
That kind of stuff.
And
And I
um,
ha-
I'm going to interrupt you. I'm going to have to dip out, but you can continue what you were saying while I'm gone if you so choose. And
understood. I'll be doing that then. You can
okay,
watch the stream if you want on your way.
okay. Uh, so I'll be back. Trooper will be entertaining you guys for a little while I go run an errand. So
For however long that I am able to, I will try.
shouldn't it shouldn't be more than 10 minutes. So
Take your time. Take your time. I will
okay,
continue on my ranting, which is the
all right,
again. Thanks for this opportunity, Wolf. I'm really thankful.
no problem. Anyways, see you guys in a bit.
All right. So I can see the chat for if anybody is wondering. I can see the chat. But anyways, back to my point. I do know that I am no special person in this, but I feel I just have this urge to want to share my opinion and share my voice in this because to me I'm kind of tired of this whole old routine being mentioned on social media, but nobody seems to be doing anything about it. And that's myself included. Because everything from the government to those around us to those who's not even part of our personal lives indicates that this is just how it's supposed to be. You go in, you sit down, you listen, you repeat. This is why a lot of students only have selective few things they actually like about school. Most of them either being gym or history or mathematics or something they can connect with for some reason or something that they're really good with. Some people has it easier with other things than others do. You've all heard these words being said before. Everybody has heard these old tropes. Everybody has heard this old debate to the point where it's like kicking a dead horse. And I understand people's frustrations with it. I really, really do. And in all honesty, I feel that if we really want to change the school system, we would want to stand at a united front as an international group, the group of students, the future that is us, no matter your age. You could be studying as a 14-year-old, you could be studying as a 40-year-old. It doesn't matter. If you're a student, you're a student, and we've all been through this treadmill, this absolute torture device that is the education system, no matter your country. Of course, in some countries, that system doesn't even exist, which makes it even more, which actually makes the system itself worthless, considering the fact that it's not fulfilling its job. Now, that's a very political view and a very skewed political view from my part, but it doesn't remove the fact that a lot of children go uneducated every year, and that's even counting those who actually go to school. And either you get blamed because he or she is slower than everybody else, or he or she has a tweak or a quirk about them that makes them stand out. Or you just have a really shitty teacher because those definitely exist. I've ran into at least 5 of those through my entire time, and I'm only 20 years old. And I honestly think it's quite ridiculous that out there are teachers who don't even teach properly. Like, why would you become a teacher when you don't even actually think the job is enticing to you? Again, this is also very hypocritical thing about the fact that I don't know these people's stories. I don't know why people aren't excellent teachers. Maybe you hate that teacher, but the student next to you loves that teacher. So this issue I'm explaining isn't just a simple one. It's not just, oh, the system is bad. It's also the fact that people just sometimes are people. Sometimes you will hate your boss, but you'll love your coworkers. Sometimes you will love your boss, but hate your coworkers. It's all situational. And for me right now, in my situation, I personally just disagree with how the public sector treats, at least in my country, how it treats education. Because to give you a little bit of background, when I got out of ninth grade, I got right to it to get into my college education. At first, everything around me was hunky dory. Everybody told me, "Oh, you did it. Now you can go on to the next step of life." And I thought, "Fuck yeah, it's gonna be awesome. I'm gonna be best in class. I'm gonna get new friends. Everything's gonna be awesome." Now, what happens was, let's say, radically different. A lot of the posters I was given, a lot of the explanations, a lot of the people I called and talked to told me that your best time is going to be in college. And the paper told me that the education I had chosen, which at the time was a carpenter, by the way, would be awesome. I would be cutting wood, building houses, setting up doors and windows, and helping people get a home. That to me was not only noble, but extremely interesting. I love building. I love strategy games where I can build things. I love building things in my free time. I loved Legos as a kid. Stuff that you would generally think would make me very interesting, or at least very driven to do this. And at first, that was the impression. I joined in. People gave me the hand, and we shook hands, and I got to meet my teachers. And after 14 days, I had learned three things. First one being of how little elementary school actually prepared me for college, or no, high school. I don't. It's weird to say it in an English way to make American viewers able to fully pinpoint what type of scale, what point of life I was in. But nevertheless, um, after ninth grade, what I realized was that a lot of the things they teach us isn't actually life preparedness. It's just repetition of what is already known to help us get a better perspective of what we might learn on a higher level. And that I realized, this was the first thing I realized when I joined, and I learned this only 2 days after, because what we were told to do was build a wall. That's right. Build a wall. Here is some tools. Here is some, and you can go over there to that pile over there and go get wooden pieces you need. The wall needs to be this, 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 and that. And that was fine at first. I need to learn the tools. I could accept that. But I just realized that what we were building was something that had been made 1,000 times before. It was less of a creative class and more of a factory line. That's at least my perspective. That might sound like a very dark perspective to have, but I'm just trying to create the image of what it was like actually being in that large class with like 45 different people. Now, the people were great at first. The first few days, great. Nobody really knew each other. No social rings was really made. And I got to know a few people. It was awesome at first. And the second thing was that I learned that creativity wasn't really the forte. Of course, it helped with finding solutions, but you were very stuck with what you were trying to build. Of course, I understand that you need standards within a nation in order to sustain it. Standards in bureaucracy, standard in building, standard in tools, standard in security, so on and so forth. But I couldn't connect with what I was told before I joined and what I was now actually doing. Because what they told us to do was not to where the second lesson we had to be learned after building that wall was that we now had to put I don't know what the English word is for it, but it's called gips in Danish. Gips to be fully like authentic. And it's a light material that's used in a lot of homes everywhere. And I'm just gonna say this from personal experience. Gips is probably the worst material. It's in Danish. It's spelled GIPS, gips, and you can probably translate it somewhere. It is a really annoying and really fragile material. However, it's very useful when making smooth surfaces for interior walls. Very useful. And the painters absolutely loves to paint on it, but they also hate to work with it because not only does it create toxic dust for your lungs when you're cutting it, it also really, if it gets in your eyes, it can also be very harmful. In general, it's not a very healthy material if you cut it, but if you don't cut it, it doesn't give any dust. It even has to be cut inside because if you cut it outside, the dust can be harmful to the environment around you. Also, if it gets wet, it can turn from this solid plate into just this vial of goo on the floor. Because it's kind of what they also it is reminiscent of what you use when somebody has broken a leg and is given some bandages on them. That's basically that material. The reason why I'm explaining this is because nobody told me I would be working in this material when I joined. They all said, "Oh, you will be working in wood," because that's what I wanted to. I wanted to be working with actual structure. I didn't want to sit and put one or two layers of these very fragile plates over a 200 square meter area on the interior of a large building. Now, I understand fully, now at least, that there will always be jobs, and no matter what education you take, there will always be jobs and educations that sucks. They always not the entire thing. That was worded wrong. There will always be certain tasks within every job or branch that you go to that will have that you think sucks. Either something that takes forever to do, something that is extremely difficult to do, some things that hasn't been regulated properly by some people up in a high chair office somewhere who has put a regulation on it without actually being working with it, or just it's annoying for a personal reason. Now, at the time, I was 18. I did not have the life experience I do now, which a lot of people say that's not a lot of life experience. You're not even able to drink in the U.S. or in a lot of other different countries, and that's true. However, that doesn't change the fact that I've learned a lot throughout the last 2 years, almost 3 years, because I'll be 21 by April. I have learned that like in because of this material, to get back to the point, I was not told this would be what I would be doing, which was another disappointment. And the third thing I learned is that my teachers wasn't very interested. They didn't have that feeling around them that they felt driven to it. They were veterans. They were guys who had been working since they were 16 back in the day when that was allowed and legally allowed, or just straight up ignored, and they're now in their 60s or 50s or 40s for some. They've been doing it longer than I've been alive, which is my point. Which is to be respect. I respect people that work hard for a very long time, and something they like. But just because you are good at something and you like something, that does not mean that you're good at teaching something. Those are two very exclusive concepts, and this was the third thing I learned. Because the teachers in my class, in my former class before I passed ninth grade, in that school, I they were very driven. At least that was my expression and perception of them. And to this day, that is true. However, these two new teachers I was given on my college class did not have this expression to them. It did not have this um energy, this drive to show their enthusiasm of what they were trying to teach, which drove me down even more because I'm kind of one of those people, and you can say this is a selfish reason to think this, but I'm one of those people that is, if I see If I see my boss not working while I'm sweating my ass off, I have a hard time finding my own motivation to even wanted to do this job unless he's paying me well, or if he's paying me at all. If he's not paying me, I'm not gonna do anything. It was this kind of mentality that I grew at the time, at least. Now, now, I had to get an apprenticeship. You have to get an apprenticeship in the Danish college in order to actually continue on to the main part of your education, which exceeded for the first year. I found it, and I worked for a 72-year-old master, as we call them here, or just bosses. A 72-year-old boss with one worker. Which at first I was super excited. I thought, yeah, my first job, awesome. I can earn some money, and I did. Um, but what I quickly learned is that a lot of those people, because these people that you, okay, so I need to stop myself here because I'm about to wander off track. Um, because this, I learned a fourth thing. I wasn't entirely right. I actually learned four things during my first time of my first education. And the fourth thing was that the schools, while they have a good intent to get you out into a work, they don't necessarily make sure that you come out to people who actually has the intent of working with you. Now, at the time, I was only 18. I was just about to get 19, and I hadn't learned what I have now. I hadn't been through as much shit as I have now. So, in my opinion, back then, it was the school system. And to this day, I still kind of feel that way, that the school system lets Danish students out and work with like a lot of different other people without actually checking if these people are able to meet the standards of teaching. Because what happened was that I became taken advantage of. My boss didn't pay my salaries at the right time sometimes, and sometimes he would take me places outside the rule of law, which didn't necessarily it happened once or twice. I'm not going to disclaim where or who he is or what happened, but I worked very hard and I got a little extra money out of it, whatever it was worth. And to be entirely fair to him, he did teach me some things, but compared to how much effort I put into it with what I learned, the scale is very much off. Now at my current age, I've learned that there will always be, you can't expect this. You cannot expect to gain equal treasure out of a huge amount of effort. There'll always be something or someone out there who will take less or more out of your effort. Now, this is my personal issue. This is my personal opinion. This is not an accurate description of the school system that works around the world, which for the most part was implemented during the industrial age, where it only meant to get farmers and other people from across the country into actually working on an industrial scale. They had to bring the working class up just enough to work, but not enough to complain. And it worked. It worked well. Um, However, it doesn't work well in our modern setting where freedom of expression and the ability to be your own individual is highly pressured, not only by society but also um by culture, honestly. And to me, that just it shows an inefficiency for change. It shows an inability to change for someone or something for multiple reasons. The first and main thing being that it's either the administration or someone wants to keep it this way, or nobody really cares if it changes or not. I myself feel that it is a much needed change that has to happen. But what most people say when they make this kind of idea or debate known to the public from their point of view is that they always end with at some point. And at some point doesn't work. It really does not work. Not in our modern time and not in our current time. And it's not going to work in the future, to be honest. It's not going to work. At any given time in the future, the information that we are learning will be so advanced and so multi-layered for some reason that we possibly can't understand it, or at least understand it at such a level that it can be taught in schools. This frustrates me, honestly. It just really does. And I understand, again, I understand that this is not a new issue. It is actually an issue that a lot of countries deal with. And is also a country that a lot of people deal with in real life. And I can't thank you, Wolf, enough for letting me speak out here into the media just by the tip of a request. Now, of course, I could go on and on about how the system has failed, but without these reality checks, if you want to call them that, without actually have been doing the mistakes that I did along the way, which I will admit I have never been the perfect student. I'm not the type of guy who sits and researches how to set up a wooden wall in my free time. It was only something I did when school was actually on, which some might say that is that, oh, you failed or you got out because you just didn't do the work to actually win. And while to some extent that might be true, that still doesn't change my perspective on the fact that the system is ineffective in grasping every student, as well as actually making the education itself interesting. Now, a lot of people will be asking, where's your scientific facts? Where is your statistics? Where's your proof, basically? And I'm sorry to say this, but I can't give you physical proof or statistics right now because, again, this is a personal matter. This is a personal feeling and this is a personal view on how it works.
Yeah.
So, and well, while I understand that while I understand that and have full the closure of it, I once again will tip my hat to Wolf, who just came back, from allowing me to have this opportunity.
Yeah.
Because luckily for you, I think I'll end my ranting about the school system from here and go on to something else that we also talked about.
Oh, yes. Um, hey, I should
Would you?
ask how the rant went.
Well, I think you'll be very pleased when you rewatch it.
Okay.
Not right now, of course, later.
Okay.
But so far, I have covered pretty much all the basics. I mean, I might have ended it a bit short in the sense that I only talked about my opinion on some of things and then a few experiences that I've had. And that my rant here doesn't have a concrete, clear solution or a concrete finish line here. But I feel that is the point of a rant. It is not meant to have a specific objective other than expressing one's opinion and feeling of a subject.
Yes.
Objective other than. And so far, we have been online for 34 minutes.
Jeez, I've been gone for way too long.
That's completely fine. So, but would you like to now to put it on a positive note for everyone out there watching to get back to a more, to me at least, that's also a personal thing, but it's something to be excited about that Wolf here knows, and she will now disclaim to you.
Okay. So, um, I'm typing at the moment, but I think the one thing you wanted me to mention was the new project you're working on,
That
correct?
too.
Yeah.
Yes, that is correct. Now, some of you, very few of you, I think, might have a small memory tucked away somewhere that I did a live stream with Wolf about a year ago. Did you say last July?
Yeah.
Last July, where oh shit, I hit my mic. One sec. Okay, there we go. Where I disclaimed that I was working on a project, working on a book actually, and working on a world.
Mhm.
And this project of mine has actually progressed quite a lot since last time. Now, many of you might be wondering, what the fuck are you talking about? What project is this? We haven't heard anything from Wolf. We haven't really seen any of it on social media. And as far as we know, you don't have any channel yourself, Mr. Trooper. Well, that is true, at least. I don't have any content put on this platform myself. However, I have been working in my own time with a crew that I have gathered to create a project that we like to call Jormungandr. Now, I will disclaim this name is used not only in mythos, yes, it is the world serpent, but it's also used on multiple different series across the world and books as well. I understand this. This name is a placeholder. I cannot disclaim this enough. This name is a placeholder.
Mhm.
And this whole project is about creating a world that me and my friends can someday create a 7-book series of someday. And we also hope to create our own live stream as well as YouTube content, of which we already have made channels of them. However, there is no content on those channels as of yet, as they've only recently been set up.
Mhm.
Now, as a disclaimer, Wolf here has generously said yes to aid us in this as helping to post content and be the hostess for the streams and the videos. So that is that disclaimer out the way. That like we will be cooperating with Wolf to hopefully create this new world that you one day all can take part in.
Yes. So if you guys take a moment to refresh your web browsers, I'll give them just a minute to refresh.
I mean, it took me 3 seconds to refresh mine just a second ago.
Yeah. If you're watching the stream right now, do refresh your page, so you can see the new links that I have put into the description. Okay. So, Trooper's been talking about this new project, and I decided to become part of it because I know knowledge of streaming and have a good platform already. Um, but in the description of this video now is a link to the Council of the Nerd Lords YouTube channel, where we're going to be doing weekly live streams discussing different plot points and some extra stuff that will correlate to the series, this new world that Trooper has made with his friends, and um, basically have new other videos that we'll be doing just to inform you about this whole new cool project. Am I am I correct?
Yes, that is correct.
Okay. And there's also a link to the Discord server where you can support them on their journey to creating these books and creating wonderful reality, which now I've become a part of because now I have my own species that I am.
Still a work in progress.
Yeah, it's still a work in progress. The name is a work in progress. We're calling them the keepers for right now,
Yes.
but as we move forward with our project, um, the keepers may be just the temporary name.
Mm. And this is something I would like to disclaim right now. Anybody who wishes to take part in a project like this, artists, writers, world builders, or just people with a cool idea of like a monster, a species, or a spell, or a mythical story, or anything really, or a cool kind of technology in a fantasy setting, you are more than welcome to join Wolf's Discord, and she will help you connect with us.
Hmm.
It would also be a great help if you do join her Discord, because that would really help the community out. If you're already a part of it and you wish to take part in my project, simply DM either me or Wolf on Wolf's Discord. I am known as the Army Turkey. Yes, that nickname was what? It's about a year old, and I just can't get enough of it.
Hmm.
So, um, to to put some more information on it, the project Jormungandr is a fantasy kaiju mix. Now, a lot of you might think fantasy and kaiju is kind of already the same thing. Well, our motto for this creation is, and a disclaimer, this has a harsh word in it. YouTube, don't ban me. Uh, Fuck stereotypes. Um, both in terms of how religious and terms of how the depictions of religious as well as cultures go. We like to make changes. We like to twist it a bit. We like to make quirky and unique things that people are actually able to collect to. To take a very good example, just to give you a bone here, we have a goddess of death who is usually the god of death can be both female and male. It's seen throughout mythology, but our unique take on it is that not only is she a very logical and very she's basically a lawyer in her outside appearance to a lot of people, but in her normal life when she's not on duty, which is most of the time never, she is a lesbian who's married to the queen of the underworld, aka a demon. Now, we think this is our own unique take to it, even if it has been shown in either mythology or other people's books. We feel that we can create a very unique take on it through not only the god's sexuality, but also in how they interact with each other, because our gods don't interact with each other like they're entities, they interact to each other like they are siblings. At least the four main ones. Now, this is just it might sound a bit weird, it might be a bit off, but this is the bone I'm willing to give you so far. We have a lot more content created already that we're going to be talking about once we get it online on the Council of the Nerd Lords.
Hmm.
Now, to our second topic of to a second pro to our actually no third topic of of this little rant of mine is world building itself. Another topic that I personally take great care in and that I personally really like because, as I've already said multiple times, world building is a huge hobby of mine. It's one of my favorite pastimes.
Hmm.
And I see a lot of people out there having a very vague ideas like how do I make my world? How can I make a good weather system? How can I make a continent or map look right? How can I make a character interesting? How can I make a cool plot point? And my answer to that, and I know I'm again, once again, as I've said before, I'm no professor or snowflake on any of this. This is my own personal take on this, and what you take away from it is entirely up to you. There is no rules when creating a world.
Hmm.
That's right. You don't have to adhere to any template. You don't have to adhere to any ideals. What you create is the same as taking a cube made of clay and spinning it on a on a plate and forming
Pottery.
it with your hands. Yeah, pottery while doing it. That's basically it. And while you might think, but I want to make something that's like Game of Thrones level or something that's on the level of Star Trek, you don't have to, or you have to. That's up to you. I know that's not necessarily. It's not a big help to have somebody say to you, "Well, just pick one." That's not a big help. What I'm here to say is that you need to start thinking like a human, unless that's your point of focus within your story. If your point of focus is to create a world entirely and actually play God in a sense, because that's what you're doing,
Play.
or Demon Lord,
Hmm.
or Demon Lord, if that's what you like to prefer yourself as. I don't know. I like to see myself as a bit of a both, actually. Because sometimes creating a true world is to create imbalance. A lot of people wants to create, including game creators, movie theaters, and the like, likes to create these plots and ideas that is balanced. Good and evil is in the same level, or the evil side is just strong enough to create a challenge for the good side.
Hmm.
But if you want your world to have fluff to it that is that only feels realistic but also feels alive, at least alive in terms of your storytelling, you need to start thinking there's a balance to things, because there's a reason why our world, the real world, isn't fair. And that's because nothing is equal.
Yeah.
It really is not. That concept of equal, it might look good on paper, but putting it into implementation in terms of wealth, ideas, birthplace, whatever, there's
Hmm.
always going to be an imbalance. While I can imagine all of you listening in on this has an electrical device of some sort, you are in the nice part of the kiddie pool, to say it like that. Now, I can say nothing about your personal lives, but compare that to some other place in the world where people are struggling to get water. Now, this got very political very quickly, but that you need to think like this when you're creating your world. If it has to have some level of realism to it in terms of how people live.
Hmm.
Now, you can throw in solutions like magic or God's intervention or a unique technology. That's okay. Make a problem and then make your own solution to it. And if it doesn't make sense in our world, bend the rules till they do. Oh, you want a bunch of floating rocks or mountains that people jump off of to get mounts, just like an avatar? Well, that wouldn't work in our real life, but how about making a magical crystal inside the rock that makes it float? Or maybe it's built on purpose by the gods because they use your world as their own little playground. Bend things to your will in this world. That is the entire point of world building, is to not have these limitations. At least to me, that's why I world build, is to experiment with all these things. And if you want templates for everything, that's okay. Use them as a reference. I'm not saying templates are bad. Just saying that when you actually want something to work, make it work. Give your explanation as to why. And if you're asking, like, oh, wait, how do I explain it then? Make a note to yourself. It's like, oh, this rock floats because it was cursed. What kind of curse is it? Like, instead of starting at the beginning, try and start at the end result. Let me give you an example. If you have a soldier and this guy has a magic sword, people want to know, how did he get the sword? Backtrack, then backtrack it from there. It's like, oh, this magic sword was made by this smith. Okay, how did the smith make it? Oh, he threw a magical mineral into it that makes it shine and shit. And then people ask, well, where did he get that? Just, you don't have to be specific. You just have to have the points down if you want to do that. That's only if you want your story to be somewhat fluent, have this flow with it. Now, to explain flow in this context, the best way I can give you is, this is a very childish one, even, and I'm smiling as I'm saying this. Think about if any of you've ever watched the Disney movie Cars.
Hmm.
Now, in this movie, Lightning McQueen gets told by his mentor that he needed to find a temper that suited him when he was racing his final race. He needed to find his spot. And that's what you need to do when you world build. You need to find your own temper. Don't think, oh, I gotta make my masterpiece within the next 5 days or else I'll never make it. No, don't think that. World building, well, you can certainly try at least, but world building is meant to be an art and it can only truly be expressed if you really like take it your own pace and make it your own strokes. There is no mistakes in world building. It doesn't exist. People sit here and a lot of people like to judge and review movies. We have an entire culture and people who has jobs doing nothing else. And that's okay. But that doesn't mean that what was created by these movie makers, these game developers, or you is wrong. It's only based on their view, but in reality, you are the creator, so there is no reason for you to be hindered by others people's decisions when they haven't even seen your work yet.
Hmm.
Mm, And to be fairly honest, more honest than I've already been, because I like to believe that I've been fairly straightforward with everything I've said so far. It's the fact that you need to stop thinking of what others will see it as. You need to start thinking, what do I want out of it? If you want to express yourself, that's the whole point. Oh, I like goth theme. I like big dark tunnels and castles that with vampires and werewolves and dark runic magic and an old one like Cthulhu. Okay, make your own one. Give them a different name. And yes, a lot of people say that, oh, well, that's just copycatting. That might be so, but it's only a copy until you work more on it. You need somewhere to store it because everything in modern television you see, everything you hear, and everything you've ever written is basically a copy of what happened 100 years back or more. So, making a copy and then creating your own version of it is not a bad thing. It's not something that's wrong to do because you can use it as a springboard, a platform to experiment with ideas. Want to create your own unique alien species? The best way is to create an environment around you, or build the alien yourself. Oh, I want an alien with 6 arms and they can fly, but they have no legs. Okay, sure. Now you have a very creative alien, but what kind of armor would it fly in? Well, make it after the alien. Use the alien itself as the platform for the environment around it. And start asking the basic questions you can find around in nature. Is it a herbivore? Is it a carnivore? How high can it fly? How low can it fly? Does it die when it hit a certain age? Basic questions like that will give you the building blocks to creating a world that feels alive and simple. And it will make it easy for people watching your world or reading your world simply just understand that this is how it works because you are basically taking you're basically taking the end of the food chain and going backwards step by step, as I said before. This is how I will build. This is my style. Like I take a god. I'm like, okay, I want a god of love. I was like, okay, what do they call him? They call him Jefferson. So why do they call him Jefferson? Oh, it's because of this prophet that once told everybody about him, and he called him Jefferson. And everybody think, well, that's just the normal English word, Jefferson. But what if you took this prophet and said, well, the name Jefferson or the word Jefferson is actually a reference to something else. This way, you can basically twist the meaning of a word. This has happened in real life, by the way. Words only has the meaning you give them based on the context they have been put into, as well as the value people take of them. This is where the phrase words can rise armies and fell nations come from. That's where that saying comes from. That's how it exists. Because depending on the value, the weight, and the reference that words are set in, they can create chaos or order. It's up to you what these words mean. It's up to you what it means. I mean, hell, The possibilities are endless, is what I'm trying to say. It's only up to you how far you're willing to take it. You don't have to create an explanation for everything. You just have to make it look and sound and feel like everything works. And
Yeah.
that can be everything from, oh, there's a ghost in this haunted house. Oh, why is that? Oh, well, they got murdered. Simple plot, classic, everybody knows it. And that's fair game. There's nothing wrong with this. There's nothing wrong with taking these things and creating your own.
Hmm.
This is my take on world building.
Yeah. And it's okay to improve on your art. You know, like if you were to draw, let's just say a cat, for example, and at first it's going to look bad. Or if you're a very talented artist, it would probably look really good. But that's not the point. You draw a cat, but how how like you can take that cat and you can try and improve it. You know, maybe adding realistic fur or add like glowing eyes or the illusion of glowing eyes in drawing sense. You don't have to set your art aside. You can, but you can always come back to it. If if you're struggling on something, you can always come back to it and improve on it. So like how I have design how I'm designing the keepers, for example. I I have taken ideas and also getting some outside ideas and mashing them together, but it is but the keepers is something that I'm not proud of just yet, but I'm willing to improve on them. You know, make
Mm.
make cool, make them have wings or make them have spines that are made of crystals. And, you know, and I'm going to backtrack how they were created, why they were created, what's the point of their species, and also if any being has
Interfered with
it
this.
interfered with said keepers.
And to put that to perspective, we're talking about world creation itself here, not storytelling. Because
Yeah.
you need a world to tell your story in before you can actually make it sense. That's why like documentaries and movies about what has happened in real life is why there's so many of them. It's because the story's already been told. They only need to what the only thing Hollywood and other game makers need to do is copy paste the data and tweak it a little bit to create their own scenario of it and basically make themselves millionaires.
Yeah.
You don't have to try and go on their level. Don't be on your level, because
Yeah.
it's through that you become a world builder. That is the essence of a world builder. Just pick up your hammer of creativity, take a note block of ideas, and start just whatever comes to mind, whatever pops up in your head, no matter how crazy it is. Oh, I dreamt about a talking fly the other day. Note it down. Like, do that, and it'll come on its own. Of course, if you want help, and here's the ultimate key, and you've heard it a multiple times, here's the ultimate key to creating your own world with a large, like, not only details but also how to help keep your creativity up. Find people who like to do this as well. There's plenty of Discord servers, videos, tutorials. There are all these things on the web. But most of all, always stay true to what you envision it to be. And if you don't have a vision but just wish the world to be, you just want to create a world that is whatever random mishmash you get to work, do it. I mean, I would read it, to be fairly like that. That's my point here, is that you can't be alone on something that big. You can, but it's going to take forever and you might end up dried out because of it. I did for like 3 months before I ran into a friend of mine that is part of this project. I'm not gonna say his name yet because I want him to introduce himself in a future stream we'll be doing. And it's through him as well as some other friends that's part of this project that I've been able to stay vigorated about this project. And I advise you guys to do the same. So that is, well, I don't honestly know what else unique, what my own perspective of woodbuilding can be besides that, because a lot of people wants to have artists, and we only recently found our first one. Again, you'll meet her doing our first live stream as well.
Yeah.
And she is our first artist who has stuck around and who will be featured to it.
Mhm.
So, out of all the crazy stuff that I've just been talking about for the last hour now,
Yeah.
specifically focused around the world building, is do it in your own temper. Find some other people who actually feels the same. It doesn't have to be in your own private area or among your friends. Find people online. Ask them, is like, oh, how would you make this work? Don't ask them, do you like it? Ask them, how would you make this work? And if they don't know, debate about it. Talk it out. Because I can guarantee you some of the best world building happens out of those rare moments where you just get the dumbest idea possible and you write it down. Trust me. Like 90%, and Wolf can contest to this, of all the world building I've been doing, and out of everything she's read about up on the project, it's all random shit I am me and my friend has just been doing at time to time.
Mhm. Yeah.
So, but thank you again for listening to my crazy ranting.
Well, thank you for giving me the opportunity to give the world, give the world the opportunity, or the giving the world
Give it,
your knowledge.
giving the world some more gum to chew on out of the 50 million other pieces of the same taste.
Yes.
By the way, this is my second public appearance, at least on this platform.
Yes. Second
And
appearance.
yeah, and if anybody can actually tell, if you actually rewatch the old stream, you will be able to tell that I got a severely better mic and internet connection,
Mhm. But
which is true. So, but
ah!
I'm honestly gonna say that I am out of things to rant about now.
No, I lost a dice. Oh, there it is.
You are, yes, Wolf. We know you're a fellow dice goblin.
There.
So,
I got some new dice, so then I can be able to play. I can bring in more players for D&D.
oh yeah. Speaking of which, to all you future DMs out there and all you future players, um, I myself have been and is on both sides of that spectrum. And to all of you out there, all you GMs out there who really wants to create your campaign, the same rules applies. Ask other people. Ask yourself, what kind of campaign is it? What kind of plots do you want? And if you can't find your own, listen to this. If you can't find your own plot point or your own unique ideas, just ask somebody else or watch a few movies, play a few games. It's like, okay, the plot doesn't work in realistic setting, so change it to the point that it does.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, I mean, hell, I made an entire world in Star with my own copy of Star Wars. Please don't, YouTube, don't copy strike us for that saying that. Um, but so like, I made my own alternative reality and just made my own changes to it. Now I know some of you are new to world building. Some of you didn't even know it was a hobby until I said it in this stream properly.
Mm-hmm.
So, but don't feel afraid of it. The best thing I can really say to all of this is just do it. The world is not building itself, and nobody's gonna build it for you.
Yeah.
Neither is your story. There is no easy way. It doesn't exist. But you can make it an enjoyable ride if you work it out.
Yes.
And I think that's it for me.
Yeah. I
Do
should,
you have any words you want to say to your viewers, Wolf?
I actually have the idea of having a D&D uh, server for my viewers and for anyone who wants to join in.
Count me in.
Play 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 D&D because I just got some new stuff for D&D besides the dice, um, which are really nice. I have a Gemini red, yellow with silver dice set and a jade and gold dice set.
I bought a diamond set not too long ago,
Nice,
and I also bought a demon set as well
nice. But I think,
because my I need to embrace my inner demon edginess.
mhm,
And no, to everybody out there, I'm not a goth. I'm just a nerd lord that just likes to be in a world that isn't the real one because the real one can sometimes be kind of boring.
yeah, yeah. But anyways, I think it's a good time to end the stream because
Yes, I think so too. We've been up for now. I've now been ranting for a solid hour. I think people are tired. People are tired of listening to me. But
Prob-
if anybody wants to reach out, again, go into Wolf's Discord, join in there, and hit me up.
yeah, I should probably put my Discord in somewhere.
Yeah,
I have my Discord server link somewhere. Look around my
but
videos.
I think we'll end it here, and you can put up the link in the description below.
Yeah. But anyways, thank you guys so much for watching. To those who are just joining in right at the end, sorry, but you have missed the entire show. But there will be other times where you can join in and watch me stream and such. But thank you guys so much for watching. If you did, slap that like button with your paws or your tail. Subscribe if you're new to my channel. Also, thanks to Trooper for joining me in my stream. Well, I guess giving me the opportunity to stream for some random reason.
Always a pleasure, and there'll be more of these in the future. Just you wait.
Yeah. But thank you guys,
Um,
and I'll see you guys in the next stream. See ya.
Bye.